in, 60s, 70s, 80s, a lot of them just stayed in the box until a certain point. You had some batters that would, like Nomar and others that would really take their time in between pitches. I don't know if they would lose focus or anything, but it just seemed like their thing. But I really like the pace of those old games that the batter stayed in the box. It's kind of like college. Isn't that the thing where they have you can have 1 foot out of the box and then the other has to stay in the whole time or it's a violation? So I think we won't get that in MLB, but it's a reminder, hey, remember there's a clock and Manny Machado has been hit the hardest, especially in spring training and early in the MLB season. But the players are getting used to this clock. The game time, I think, is great for those casual fans. But for us, I didn't think about time. Unless like the Yankees and Red Sox or the Giants and Dodgers were playing those games where it almost was 4 hours with all the pitching changes. And that's been a big thing too, Ben. You know how every pitcher that comes in has to face 3 batters, the 3-batter rule. That's been a great thing too. So that's been moving things faster. It makes it harder on the managers that is pitching. But I like the rule. I know it's going to affect sales, in the concessions, but it makes it better for a TV game because games that would last 3 hours, 30 minutes. What is the average now? 215, I think it is, or 214. Remember last year it was about what, 245, 248, I think it was.
Yeah.
So I like it if you're not there. I like it if you're not there. That's for sure. Because you want to get away from everything in life and you want to just be at the ballpark for as long as you can. And that's kind of been taken away. But you get more action, like you mentioned. The only thing is, man, I wish the Angels would steal some damn bases. I think they've only had 5 this year. And if that rule is there where you can run, if they don't get you on the 3rd pickoff try, you automatically get the base. Why not after 2 tries, go halfway, creep, and just take second base? It really... It boggles my mind. Like, the game can be so easy, but I don't know what it is. People don't think about it. They're like, hey, you could easily have second base. You could easily have third base. It just pisses me off that the Angels don't steal bases like that. And other teams are doing it. I forget which one is. The Rays have been doing it. If you watch them, they've been stealing bases very well. The young teams are doing that. They're trying to get ahead, stealing base. The Pirates are up there taking advantage of this. So it's awesome to see certain teams use these new rules for their winning.
Definitely so. And James, before I go on to kind of my next thing, I even realized that I forgot to put the recording until just like 3-4 minutes ago.
I'm even looking.
I totally feel like a complete idiot right now, but so we might only have half my show for at least tonight via recording on at least here and there. So for those that were watching, I deeply apologize on that. I completely wasn't even I was just kind of going through overall thoughts and segment. So we only might have half a recording on this show tonight, but with all that being said, let's keep going. So James, before we get into our baseball sports trivia segment, specifically our fun one, I do want to get into an article I was just reading when you were kind of talking in terms of the rules, and it was on ESPN, and it's some of the players specifically kind of had their own overall thoughts in terms of their favorite thing about the new rules so far. So here we go. So first was Ian Happ from the Cubs. Ian Happ said, not having the shits. Being able to have some of those ground balls be hit is huge. Rewarding guys for hard hit balls, the line drive being back in play. I think I've had 2 hits so far that would have been outs. Blake Snell. They asked Blake Snell about this. He said, none that I can think of is his overall thing. Mark Canha said this. Favorite thing, the game's being over 2.5 hours more than often than 3.5 hours. I do remember last year, my garage near my apartment where I was parking my car closed at 12. So it'd be like with my wife and my kids, I was a rush to get home just to make it to the garage sometimes. Okay. Matt Moore on your Angels had something to say. He said, I don't know that I have a favorite thing, but it's a nice feeling like the game has been condensed down to more of a reasonable time frame. As a reliever now, I'm heading out to the bullpen in the third inning, and you have no longer like an hour till the end of the third inning. It's like, hey, I might have a half hour. The pace of the game, depending on which matchup it is. The other day, it was Tyler Anderson and Zach Greinke, and
Hmm.
we were in the fourth inning after like 30 minutes. It was very quick, so that's one thing I do like.
Hmm.
Okay. Tony Kip said this. Uh, Probably my favorite rule has been the disengagement limits because I think sometimes it gets used to be too much. It can get repetitive and pitchers fall into rhythm of three or more times throwing over, and it prolongs the game. Elvis Andrews said this. He said the bigger bases. It's a lot easier for everything, stealing, making double plays. It's helped the game a lot. It's the thing I really only like. And then the last two people, this one was Kyle Agaccio, the catcher of the New York Yankees. He said, I like to run around second base in extra innings because I don't want to play 18 innings. And sometimes these games, when it's 0-0 or 1-1, it's destined to go go more than 6 innings. You're just dreading it. So now the least the thing is both teams can get their chance no matter what. I think it just ends the game quicker. That's actually pretty exciting because it's high stakes immediately. And then the last one was not by a position player, it was actually by a manager, and this was Kevin Cash from the Tampa Bay Rays. He said, pitch clock, the pace of game, it helped baseball. I've enjoyed it. I hope the fans have enjoyed it. It's obviously a faster pace and seem to create a little more action in the game. So obviously these guys have said something that they have enjoyed so far. Now, these are the same guys specifically now, and they said, "What is one thing about the rule changes you think needs improvement?" So Ian Happ said this: "I give the pitcher one. I give the pitcher one. Uh, sorry, I give the pitcher one disengagement with no one on, and probably make the clock 17 seconds with none on base." Mark Canna said this: make the pitch clock 20 seconds with the bases empty instead of 15 seconds. Give the pitchers and hitters a little more time because we can get gassed when there's a long at bats.
Hmm.
Um, I like to step in and breathe and try to clear my head before I hit. And guys aren't getting an opportunity to go through their routine. I don't like it when I'm up there. I think the game moving faster is a good thing, and it feels like I'm rushed. It feels like you're getting winded while the at bat's happening because you're exerting a lot of energy to slow the bat down and catch your breath. It does seem a bit ridiculous. I think I had a 13 pitch up out with Clayton Kershaw the other day in LA, and it was like by the end of it, you're looking at each other. This is this is fucking crazy. Uh, let's see. Me and Kershaw are like we kind of go like here at the end of the inning. This fired me with this commercial then. 10 seconds. Sorry about that. I'm almost done with this. Okay. Sorry about that. Let's see. And then, so Canna also said that at the end of this outing, the crowd's getting into it. He's trying to win his 200th game. The emotions are picking up. The situation's so silly. I think if we're making an amendment to the rule, not that anyone cares would make my advice, but I would say that you get to 3-2, you should get another time out. Matt Moore said this. I feel like a lot of these are more of the more longer than kind of the favorite thing. So it is really interesting. Matt Moore said, I think a pitcher can get a timeout like the hitter does with two strikes, but we can take it any time. I don't really love the fact that I can't call time. Look, I'm not a it's not fair type of guy, but there really should be something for the pitcher. The other day, I'm in Boston and I have mono mic beats, and I feel like this pressure. This is just so fascinating right now. I'm looking at this. Like, I'm not comfortable because my swipes are clogged up and the clock is ticking. The umpire made an exception for me this time, but it's not the same. The thing I like about it is the game is quicker. The moments that matter are tied closer together. But I don't really enjoy now I'm throwing it in a tighter ball game in the second half of the game. I'd like to have a different feeling than I have to get going. Maybe I want to take a breath. Maybe the moment coming up, this is what the game is going to come down to, that at bat right here. And I don't want to feel like I'm rushing a decision or trying to get the ball out because of the clock. And then Blake Snell, he said, stolen bases, it is a joke. Can't throw no one out. You have to be 1.2 to 1.3 seconds to the plate. If you pick twice, they're getting crazy jumps and leads. Now this is definitely a big one. Stolen bases are a joke, and the bases are closer. The game is perfect. The game was made perfectly, and they changed the game. I need to be better at pressing buttons on the pitch com device. Sometimes you're thinking about how to attack a hitter, then you need to hit the buttons. I'd like to be able to say I'm pressing the wrong buttons. More time would help. And then let's see. There's actually a couple more guys. Kemp also said some things. He said, I think the pitch clock needs to have a little bit of feel in terms of like later in the game, seventh, eighth, ninth. You're so locked in terms of what's going on, but then you have to worry about the clock. I don't know if you saw Drew Maggi, who's actually a 33-year-older from Pittsburgh. He got called on a pitch clock
Mm-hmm.
violation. It's like, come on. I always have to make sure I'm checking where the clock is. That sucks. I got banged for a violation 2 games ago to start at bat in the 8th inning, walking up to the plate, getting my bearings and stuff like that, and then pitch clock violation. I mean, it's good for the speed of the game question. Yeah, it's good, but I think it's a certain situation you make an adjustment.
Yeah.
Elvis Andrews said, the beginning of every inning, I would like to make at the beginning of the game, there's no clock. Okay? Then as soon as you step in, you get the clock on. If you're a catcher or center fielder, you don't even have time to grab a cup of water. That's the only tweak I would do. Kevin Cash said, I limit the limit of throwovers. I think that's stupid. And Gashoka said the new pickoff rule that does kind of hang the catchers out to dry. I think it's a little bit because there's not really much more we can do other than we have to make sure that we have a good throw, making sure the pitchers are quick to the plate, and we try to use our picks strategically. So there's obviously more to this, James. Obviously, I'll obviously move on to it. But James, if you want me to send this article to you, by all means.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Yeah. I like the Ian Happ one, and I totally forgot about it. The no shift rule. There's those singles up the middle that are never hits. Couple of years it's been like that, but now you get those CNI singles. You get those ones that go, to left field or right field. That's only right. Remember on left-hand big hitters, they would have the shift on with an infielder out in shallow right field, and they would always throw him out. That Votto shift or Opapi shift, all those shifts. Oh, that used to frustrate, all those batters, and me watching because, you could have someone down the middle, but they can't cross that imaginary line of second base. So I really enjoy that rule. I enjoy the throwover rule because you want to get people moving and things moving. The thing is, too, watching old games, man, whenever Ricky Henderson got on or Dave Roberts in that one situation, or Vince Coleman, Willie McGee, whomever was a great stolen base guy, it seemed like the pitcher would throw over like 20 times during the inning, when that guy was on first. It was awful. So I'm just happy now. But again, I want my team to steal some bases. So I really like the transparency and I'm shocked really about all those players coming out saying all this, because um, it affects them. I figured the older players wouldn't like it, the newer players would, because they're coming from the minor leagues where they had it there, so they would be more in tune with it. So we'll see how that goes as the game goes on, as the players get younger. Will the rule be in place? That's going to be interesting to see coming up all these years from now.
Definitely so. So without further ado, we'll get into our last segment, and we'll go into our new segment we have not done before. And James, I don't even know if we've done trivia before. So with that being said, let's do the trivia. And let me quickly get to my questions for you.
I do like trivia. Like I forget what show did that. I was on some network and they had like Jeopardy, or I would call in the radio shows I would listen to when they had trivia shows. So I always like doing it. It's always fun, all this information that I assumingly have. It's good to use it at some time.
Okay. So let's see. And I'll kind of do this as well. Actually. All right. I'm just trying to get the questions right now.
It's like, man, with all the sports going on and all the stats and everything else, it's like, man, I got to remember stuff that happened in the past. But there's so much going on right now with all the sports going on. It's crazy.
Okay. So, okay. These are all from MLB.com. So I'll try to do ones with answers that are more like on the recent side, or at least like a certain season. So I don't know if you would happen to know this one. The first question is this. So let's have a drum roll, please. All right. Who is the last pitcher to strike out 10 or more batters in his MLB debut? I'll give you a hint. It is in the year of 2020. So it is about 3 years ago. He is more on the younger side of the pitcher. I don't know if he's really pitched. He's still in the league right now. And he is from the American League. His stuff is decent. It's been around in the past. It's some pretty decent stuff. If I give you maybe the division, it might give you the answer away.
But he came up in 2020.
Well, he's been around the league. I could actually, I'll give you specific in terms of when he came up. But this overall answer came up in 2020. So he's 25. He made his MLB debut in 2020. Yep. Okay.
Oh, what's that dude from? Oh, Shane McClanahan.
Wrong. So the answer was from the Guardians, Tristan McKenzie.
Oh, yeah.
Right-handed
pitcher.
Yep, it was a 10 strikeout, 1 walk on August 22nd against the Tigers. Tristan McKenzie made his debut, so that was the last pitcher to strike out 10 or more batters in his MLB debut. That was the question from MLB.com on May 3rd, 2023.
Wow.
Now let's do the May 2nd, 2023 question, because why not? Which two players, James, tied for the MLB lead with 4 walk-off hits in 2022? So you have one guy who actually, James, this was a guy from American League East, American League. It's 2 guys actually. And then one guy, he's a catcher, and he went from the National League to the American League. He's He's on the major league roster, but he's currently actually playing in AAA at the moment.
Wow. I'm gonna say
one of the guys is like a very well known. I don't know. He might have broken the home run record last year.
God, okay.
Aaron Judge was one of them, and then the other one you're gonna have to obviously think a little bit for this one.
The catcher,
He's a
and
catcher,
he's in AAA right now.
Mm-hmm.
Is he in the National League?
He's in the American League.
American League. Oh, and he had the most walk-offs in.
He had the most. He was tied with the major league leader with 4 walk-off hits in 2022. I mean, you probably wouldn't guess it. Maybe. I don't know.
I know it ain't Stassi from the Angels. I was trying to remember who the Texas catcher is. Jonah Heim is the starter now. I can't remember who I was gonna go with whoever was the starter that year of Texas, but
so the answer you probably wouldn't know, but the answer is Jorge Alfaro.
Oh, for the Padres. Duh. Yep. Oh, he was in the National League when he did that, but now he's with the Red Sox, right?
Now he's with my Red Sox. He's in the American League AAA. So that's the answer there. Aaron Judge and Jorge Alfaro.
Yeah, he had a great home walk-off, I think, grand slam on Mother's Day against Miami here in San Diego last year. He was awesome in those clutch situations.
Okay, this is going to be one that you probably have a decent idea with, James. This is actually an Angels question, James. So this might be right up your alley. Okay. Shohei Ohtani hit for the cycle on June 13, 2019. Which team was the Angels facing in that game?
Tampa Bay Rays.
Perfect. So
you're. That was also the same. That night I was at a bar, and that was the last game of the 2019 NBA Finals. So I was watching both at the same time.
All right, so you really got that one. You got that one for sure going there. You actually also might have this one as well. This was actually a moment from 2017. But this was who was the last left-handed batter to hit 4 home runs in a major league game?
In 2017.
2017. I don't know where this guy is now at this point in time. But he just had an absolute insanity of a game. Like he completely. I think he played second base. I'm not particularly sure.
Oh, Scooter Gennett.
Yep, that was Scooter Gennett. Yep,
I remember that because like. But he's short. You can't boom, and he did that. Yeah.
All right. Man, these are a lot of good questions. Let's see here. A lot of good ones. Okay, I'll do this one. All right. So Aaron Judge has homered on his birthday twice. Who is the active leader in birthday home runs? You're going to be like, oh, interesting. I'll just say that.
Is he in the American League?
Yes.
I want to say Mike Trout, but I think that was that's what I thought. Because he had a stretch of like opening day home runs. And then that kind of faded away. And then I remember something about his birthday. Like he owns the Rangers. He owns the Mariners. Or no, he owns the A's and Mariners. And then he hits a bunch of home runs on his birthday. And opening days in the past.
That was Mike Trout. So you got that one, James. And then the last one. This is a good one. I'll get you. This might be a tough one, not the last one, but might as well do it. Okay. Which team outside the NL West has Clayton Kershaw defeated the most?
Is this including postseason or no?
I guess so.
I don't think it would though. I'm just thinking about all the times he pitched against the Mets and the Cardinals and all that. Ooh, I'm gonna say, sheesh. There's 10 other teams. Oh my gosh. I'll say Miami.
You were close. You're in the same division. It was the Washington Nationals. 13-3, with 13-3 and 18 regular season starts. That was
I can see that.
So that concludes the Kicking It with Kruse first annual edition of Trivia with James. So that was a lot of fun, James.
Yeah, man.
But James, with that being said, we will conclude our program for tonight. We'll get into quickly some final thoughts, James. Any final thoughts you want to get into before we conclude?
Yeah, it's almost midnight here on the West Coast. I've had a long day. I've been up since 5. This was a great conclusion because I love trivia. It's always good.
Going when you're tired, huh?
It's weird because I'm thinking of like videos I've seen and is that guy? Is it this team? Is it that player? Yeah. So it was good on ending on that, and then always good talking sports topics with you. Very knowledgeable about everything, and always bringing up the good topics. And it's better than other shows I've been on lately. So it's really good to get some good topics going. So that was really enjoyable out of a busy day. So thank you for having me on your show tonight, Ben.
Yeah, of course, James. Anytime. For those joining, I do apologize that legitimately halfway through this, I did not have this recorded. So you might just be only able to watch only half of it. So that was pretty much when I had it recorded. It was pretty much a lot of the baseball part of this segment. So the stuff beforehand that you weren't able to see, it was mostly all NBA and all that type of stuff. So I'll have more of that kind of similar stuff next week. So don't worry too much. We will actually do basketball. We will recap a lot of the second round overall matchups. I might have a show maybe at the end of this weekend. Obviously, time will tell. I'll kind of go through it because I have a pretty busy rest of my week, specifically work-wise. But then we'll actually have a sports trivia round 2. This round will be basketball. So we'll make sure to tune in for that as well. That should be a lot of fun. But yeah, James, thanks for coming on as usual. Appreciate it. Make sure guys to join as well. Tune into the rest of the IM6 stuff with Isaiah, Loro, and company. But that being said, without further ado, thank you guys for joining Kicking It with Kruse tonight on tonight's program. And without further ado, we will count it down to our 30-second countdown. And we will see you guys probably either this end of this weekend. If not, next week. I will keep you all in tune. But with that further said, have a great evening, everybody. And we'll see you guys next time.
All right, Ben, I'm going to see you. Take care, man.
Thank you, man. Take care.
You too, though.